10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to ban. Radiant team ban.
Dusk.
Radiant team pick.
Hello guys and welcome back. Another night of the defense and Group B is coming to a close. We've got some pretty interesting matchups coming up for you. The first one tonight is really going to set the pace of the last couple of series because Team Liquid against Arcade here. We do have the possibility of a four-way tie up at the top. There are two slots. The first place slot gets automatic qualification. Second place from both teams play against each other from the for the third slot. Oh my goodness! Just looking at this table is giving me a heart attack. Currently, we've got Vega and 4CNL 6-4. They've played all of their games. Team Liquid 4-2 and Power Rangers 4-4. If Power Rangers or Arcade can 2-0 Liquid here and then Liquid 2-0 their later matchup, we then have four teams at 6-4. And things are going to get a little bit messy, I think. But draft has begun. We're getting into our first series, two-game series, to kick things off tonight. And then later on, we've got Liquid against Complexity. So, you know, if Liquid do well tonight, they could be the first team to fully qualify for the defense LAN. But I'm not alone tonight. My co-caster, Motpax, is here, and hopefully everything's working okay. How you doing, man?
10 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to ban.
Oh, wow.
Radiant team.
Yeah, I'd agree. They're definitely one of the few teams left that like picking. Tusk is still picked up in the first phase just because it's a strong hero, but they're one of the few teams that still run it both support and off lane, you know, regularly. There are a few teams that occasionally are like, oh, we need to switch Tusk back to the support role, and that's okay. But the fact that both Jirax and Mind Control are very adept with this hero, I think it gives them a lot of strength with it. And then the Gyrocopter follow-up. Matu can play that. Fata can take it towards the mid if he really wants to, but he's been playing a ton of, you know, Wind Ranger just to try and deal with the aggression from other teams. You know, you look at Arcade, they love their Spirit Breakers, they love charging around, just causing havoc and chaos, and it's one of those heroes that's difficult to gank at the mid. Yeah.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, I was going to say that with Wind Ranger, often you see the Slaughter go with it. Amplify plus Focus Fire is such an amazing combination. You know, the minus armor with that just raw damage output, the arrows being sprayed down into you. But Arcade so far, Shadow Fiend, good flash farmer, can go towards the midline, and as their Radiant side, they've got the two jungle camps just to clear through if things get a little bit nasty with that Tusk roaming around. Winter Wyvern offers you... It's got to be one of the best supports right now, honestly. You know, Bane has been seeing a lot of light recently, but the fact that Winter Wyvern offers you zoning, harassment, teamfight control, sustain, and Splinter Blast, I think is, you know, one of his best skills, honestly. That short cooldown, pretty big nuke and slow. You can farm yourself up decently, but also you can stop pushes coming into your towers pretty nicely.
Witch Doctor.
Team Liquid's turn to pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We've been seeing a lot of Witch Doctor kind of last pick, just to try and deal with heroes like Spirit Breaker or Beastmaster. If you get those coconuts pinging around, it can be annoying to try and dive towers with those guys. But picking it up third here is kind of interesting, honestly. I guess they want to keep their hand hidden a little bit, wait to see what's up before they pick the rest of their cores. Now, Lina for Team Liquid could be Fata towards the middle lane, but equally it could be Kuroki, farming up in that 4 role.
Ten seconds remaining.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting.
5 seconds
I
remaining.
don't think Arcade can really fit it in here with Wyvern and Witch Doctor, so it's gonna be a tall order for them. Liquid could try, but the fact that it's gone past that third pick. Usually, if you want to see the Wisp, it's the 1-2 hit. You say, okay, we'll take Wisp and Tiny. See what you do about it. But Arcade, I feel they need someone to actually go and make things happen in the first 15 minutes, because SF, he's good at being static on his lane, farming a little bit behind himself in the jungle, but they don't have that action hero. Like, Wraith King, Slark, Huskar, these are all heroes that come to mind when I think of, Scary Faces, Arcade Power Rangers, and teams like this, CIS Rejects, but you're just never sure. The fact that Tron has played a ton of Gyrocopter recently, it's like one of his heroes. They still go with the Spirit Breaker, again, one of their favorites running themselves around, but that Tron hero is yet to be picked up, and when you're looking at things like Batrider, Tusklina, I think Slark wouldn't be bad. You're just a little bit worried about the AoE splash coming out of them.
Yeah, and there's that Razor ban too, so that would have been something else. Gyro and Razor on the same team. I didn't actually look. I'm sure they've probably done it before, but I'm thinking. Oh wait, they did a Kuro Batrider the other day, didn't they?
Oh, I didn't see that.
They did. They had Kuro on the Batrider, and he went into the jungle level 1 with Napalm.
Oh wow!
And he was like kind of supporting, kind of like priming up stacks at the same time, and it might be that again.
Team Liquids.
I think it is.
We used to see that from Goblak. I'm pretty sure, like a year and a half ago, when Goblak and Poppy were messing around with the whole jungle and smoking in the jungle with like Darkseer and Shadow Demon and funky things like that, the Pudge Rot. They tried the Batrider support and it was okay. How did it work out for Kuroki?
I believe they won that one. Oh, jeez, I want to say. I'm not positive. It worked out pretty well, though. Like, he had a decent timing. He was 6 at, like, 9 minutes, but he was contributing a little bit in the lane at the same time, so he wasn't, like, completely AFK and helping to secure runes as well, which is pretty important right now in this patch. So, I liked it. I think it's something that, once you get it really refined, it is something you see in pubs quite a bit. Like, just like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to pick, so I'm just going to go jungle with the Batrider, even at, like, the high levels, so... I don't know. I like it. It's good to bring something like this because then it puts a little bit of pressure for Arcade to think about how they're going to deal with it. Now, keeping in mind they do have the Spirit Breakers, so some early wards could spell disaster for Kuroki if he gets spotted out trying some of this.
Oh, for sure. It's still difficult to read into what Team Liquid are exactly doing. Their final pick, trying to round out their draft. Usually you're looking at what role is left, but you're just not certain here.
Yeah.
Lina, I'm guessing, is going to be Fata's hero mid. Then Batrider could be the support, could be off lane. But Tusk
could
is
be
in
mid too. You never know.
Could be mid as well. Yeah. And then Tusk is in a similar situation. It's just almost impossible. And like I said, the Slark there for Tron. It's one of like when you look at his hero pool, it's not massive, but he has been playing pretty well on the heroes that they pick up for him, the Slark, the Wraith King, the Gyro. So it wasn't unnatural just to see him pick up the Slark, especially against a bat. Get the Dark Pact off before the lasso hits you, and everything's good. But they've got the action heroes. They've got Spirit Breaker, Slark, Witch Doctor to run around and actually go and cause a little bit of danger for Team Liquid. Team Liquid's lanes so far, though, are they going to be able to withstand the pressure? If Spirit Breaker, he's a hero that really likes to be active early, and if Witch Doctor Wyvern can TP around, control middle lane, Shadow Fiend, I said, is relatively static, but with Razors, you can do a ton of damage with that, and a Disruptor as your 5th pick.
Okay, so yeah, so they're gonna give the Batrider over to Mind Control then. Look at that. The plays. You can just decide whatever the heck you want to do. I like that. Obviously, it's a nice little bit of AoE damage. They already have pretty good for like the gyro and the Lina and the Tusk, but it's just important for the Slark, like in terms of control and damage for when he goes in that Shadow Dance, or hopefully he won't even get it off, obviously, if you can get the Static Storm down at the right time. And but talking about those lanes, I think I kind of like having the support Tusk and then Fasa on the Lina, in the sense where they're like putting mind control on the bat, simply because it means that Tusk will be able to rotate around and help some of those Ice Shard snowball saves, which can be pretty big against something like the Spirit Breaker or the moving in Slark at the earlier levels, around like minute 8 or 9.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, we'll find out whether they're still deliberating where they're going to be putting these heroes and who's going to be picking them up. So yeah, Fata is on the Lina, and then they've got Jirax Tusk. I'm guessing Kuroki on that Disruptor is going to be the final one. So yeah, but Summerman Gyrocopter, once again, he's just coming back to this hero time and time again. It's honestly kind of amusing just to watch him play Gyro every game, because he had that stint where he was playing Wind Ranger pretty much every game from the safe lane. Now he's back to Gyro, and it feels like Liquid just go through these phases where they'll find specific heroes and really run them dry.
Yeah, I mean, it's not broken, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's just something that people don't prioritize in the first bans anymore. So because of Doom and the importance of those healing supports like Dazzler or Winter Wyvern, he just gets kind of left in, and some teams are running him and some teams just aren't. Like this draft that he still just slips through completely untouched. Speaking of which, where was the Queen of Pain this draft? Maybe I just missed it in the first phase.
I think she was banned in the second phase. I can't remember who by, but it was like third ban by one of the teams.
Yeah, that's another one that's kind of fallen out in terms of like that whole first ban phase as well.
Yeah, sometimes we see people, like Power Rangers are ones that sometimes pick the Queen of Pain very early on. Their mid player, Barash, he's pretty friendly with the old Quap, but Shadow Fiend was picked up incredibly fast by them. Liquid, initially smoking up here. 5-man incursion into the jungle. Now this Radiant Observer, J4 feels incredibly safe, but with Jirax, can they get the snowball in time? It looks like they will pick one person up, and they chase in. Fata gets the Light Striker Ray down, and J4 should be dropping here. There's no real way of escape as Matu launches out that Rocket Barrage, but Fata with First Blood and a Bounty Rune. This is going to give him a decent start. You know, there were 5 people sharing the Golden Experience and things like that. Just look at the fight recap here. You don't get a lot from First Bloods when you share it between 4 people nowadays, so it's going to be mainly the Bounty Rune that he gets a lot out of.
Yeah, and then the bonus gold from the First Blood, so it ends up being like 287 in total there. So that's pretty nice though in terms of like getting that nice early bottle. She will grab a salve actually. Not going to try and save up for it. I thought she might.
Yeah, we've seen this the majority of the times. You know, as a Lina or as a Queen of Pain, you kind of want that salve so you can play hyper aggressive against someone like a Shadow Fiend, because you can trade hits so efficiently, and you literally just right click them. But then the Shadow Fiend is forced to buy salve for himself, and is he going to bring one out? Looks like he is, yeah. So it's just like a trading of resources and regen, and Fanta knowing that he's ahead, he's always going to have that one up on the SF. So lanes, what are we actually looking at? Cheshire Cat, top Spirit Breaker, going to be dealing with Mind Control's Bat Rider. Now, that's going to be an interesting one, this matchup. And it's going to come down to the Spirit Breaker and whether he can turn around to charge away from the bat or not. Mid, the Shadow Fiend against Lina. That's going to be where a lot of the action's happening. I'm pretty sure once the supports start rotating off this tri-lane versus tri-lane, Matu, Kuroki, as well as Jirax, facing off against the Wyvern and Witch Doctor and the Slark. Now Slark, similar in respects, in some ways anyway, to like an anti-mage safe lane. He requires a good amount of space to farm up his initial items. You know, Treads, Ring of Aquila, maybe a bottle, but then head into your Shadow Blade or Blink. If you can't get that start up and running, you really can struggle to go and find the pickoffs on the supports that you need.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I guess just because of how hyper aggressive this is, you didn't have really any harassment on Fata, which is pretty rough for Barash, just because, Lina versus SF, not the easiest matchup in the world. So probably pretty happy that you don't have that Winter Wyvern coming in level 1 and just throwing all kinds of harass at you. And then looking at that Sticking Napalm, this is actually a really annoying game for the Radiant side. You got the Pounce that you have to try and line up with Sticking Napalm for the Slark. You've got the raises that you have to deal with, and then of course, as you mentioned, the escape mechanism for Cheshire Cat, who, speaking of which, is in a little bit of trouble. He might have to charge away here.
Yeah, Napalm charges up. Oh god, Lina has killed off the Shadow Fiend at mid. Missed out on that one, looking at the Spirit Breaker charging away at top, and now down at bottom lane. The Cask is bouncing back and forth, but Fata getting a 1v1 kill there. A little bit unexpected.
Yeah, I think that just kind of has to deal with that harass. Like, you just always see a support come in when it's a bad matchup like this these days. It just seems to be a big requirement for teams. But the aggro try, forcing the Witch Doctor and the Winter Wyvern to immediately come bottom, and you don't get that same effect.
And then you also see with the Star Observer Ward when the Winter Wyvern is moving towards mid. So Shadow Fiend is in a situation where he's losing pretty nastily to this Lina, but also that he can't really have support to freely rotate across. And Kuroki with a haste rune here. He's got Thunder Strike, he's not level 2 just yet. He's going to go in with a harass, and Fata, you can't dive in behind the tier 1 just yet. Down at bottom lane though, Snowball to try and save Matsumi Man. It looks like it has succeeded as Tron not going to get in there with too much damage, and they've got regen between them, right? Salves, clarities, magic stick charges, the lot. So Liquid should be okay down here for a little while. And Kuroki has left them.
Yeah, speaking of regen, Tron sitting there with 7 tangos. Matsumi Man throwing out those flat cannon harass. Something we've been seeing quite a bit lately in terms of like kind of that new, mostly how you do the gyrocopter. It's just always trying to push them away from your lane. And not too often we do see him in the aggro try these days. I don't find. Oh, J4 may be in trouble.
He's got the restoration, and actually Tron's going to go try on Kuroki here with J4 running back in. They're going to get the kill on Kuroki first, it looks like. That static field not doing enough, and Cold Embrace holds the Witch Doctor in place to heal him up, and the Matsumi Man can't get the hit in there. There's no kill for Liquid, playing very aggressively onto the Witch Doctor. But the sustain they've got on this safe lane tri-lane between Voodoo Restoration, Cold Embrace, they just don't have the magic damage to finish it, and now with that, it's all a little bit of slow there. Tron's diving in behind the tier 1, and Snowball should be able to secure this kill onto the Slark, unless the cast could bounce between them perfectly, but not quite. And now it's time for Liquid to turn and fight. J4 slowed by the Sigil. That should be his doom and demise as Big Num. Do they have anything left to finish him off? No. No Glimpse, no Snowball. So Big Num should be able to escape.
That just worked out so well for Liquid. And now Cheshire Cat and Mind Control are just like battling it up non-stop. Every time I look at the minimap, they're like on top of each other. There's one trying to get the bashes, and Mind Control's just trying to stack up these napalms. It looks like he's in trouble. Oh, Fata with the rotation.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Pretty easy.
He wasn't expecting that now, was he? Like, he hasn't.
He should have been with that ward.
Did he pick up an invis or anything? No, it was a bounty rune. Okay, well, Cheshire Cat, a little bit of trouble up at top, does drop. And this gives Mind Control a little bit of time as well to get into that Blink Dagger. Now, we saw the other day where 4CNL had a safe lane Batrider. I think it was against a Clockwork or something. I can't quite remember. But he... Bambo had like 2,000 gold. Oh, Tron, the Rocket Barrage. Matsumi Man's diving here into the tree line, but Big Num, he's got that Arctic Burn to slow him down. The Snowball will catch him out, but in comes Cheshire Cat, charging across into Matu. And with a couple of hits in, a bash, anything, that's all they need. But Cheshire Cat can't close the gap, and Matsumi Man, they're going to save them out with Fata here, running in, misses the LSA, but still gets the Dragon Slave damage in. And it should be Cheshire Cat getting himself out with the charge ready and available as well. Maybe looks to turn. But yeah, the Bambo Batrider yesterday for 4CNL, he died with 2,100 gold, and he bought a Midas, and he still found like a 15-minute Blink Dagger BOTs, and like a 20-minute Force Staff and Ghost Scepter on top. It was crazy farm.
Yeah, it reminds me of the way that people are running the Beastmaster. It's kind of the same idea, where it's this hero that can do a lot with early on farm. Like in Beastmaster's case, it's the Necro book, and it allows you to kind of build the hero the way you want. Like sometimes when you see S4 run bat in the mid lane, for example, he'll take a few points into the Flame Break early on because it helps secure some kills in the mid. And similarly, if you're running like a mid Beastmaster, you do the same thing with the Axis, right? But when you run him in the safe lane position, you can go full points in the aura, or in this case, you can go more points into the napalm as well as the flame break, so he does go down. Or sorry, the firefly, but he gets bashed up top. And we lose them. Either way, it lets you get the build you want, as well as the earlier levels and gold. And you can kind of, get early Blink Force Staff, yada yada yada.
Yeah, it's kind of like, the safe lane Queen of Pain. Batrider's a lane dominator in a lot of respects. The fact that he can go toe-to-toe with many, many heroes as Barash is scouted here, and Fata should be able to line up the LSA, or not. As the kinetic field doesn't hold in the Shadow Fiend, and now the charge is coming back onto the Tusk. Cheshire Cat's here, and he's hit level 6. He's got the Nether Strike, but a raise finally from Barash will secure that one. Big Num. They've got the Nether Strike onto Fata now. A couple of raises, but Fata turns back with the Laguna Blade. Shadow Fiend, wrong place, wrong time. That's a killing spree for the Lina, who can now just TP away.
That all comes from some very good wording from Liquid, so knowing and understanding, I mean, it's not a big surprise that your Shadow Fiend's going to be doing those stacks in there. Just looking to get aggressive with two heroes that are very good at that early on, so they blow them up. And what's already been a pretty rough early game here, he is leading in terms of the CS, but you've got 3 dire heroes on top in terms of net worth right now.
Yeah, taking a look at levels, this tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario, it doesn't really help either team get their levels up on their supports. But I guess if you look at Liquid, the Tusk and Disruptor, they're both pretty good, even pre-level 6. Whereas Witch Doctor and Wyvern, they almost desperately want their ultimates up. You know, Death Ward and Winter's Curse are so important as top lane. Looks like Mind Control should escape. But yeah, the disables and actual team fight capability you get from Liquid supports early on, I feel are a little bit stronger and offset the fact you are doing an aggro tri-lane.
Yeah, and it's gone very well. And Slark, I don't know, when you think about Slark, you think about this guy who like snowballs out of control and he just kind of pounces on you, and you know you're just kind of instantly dead. But early on, he was just god damn.
I caught it. I caught it.
Oh,
I saw it coming. Twitch chat are not going to be spamming T-tours or anything. I've missed the kill. I missed the kill that Fanta got on the Shadow Fiend, but I've been very careful now. I've got to catch every it's that trigger.
Well, mid lane.
Oh god, am I going to miss another one? Barash, no, thank you for pointing it out. Oh, he might escape here. Fata is, not quite going to get in there with the hits. That was close. That was very close. Now, Fata's got a Soul Ring. No Yule Scepter. No Shadow Blade. Is this going to be the Bloodstone Rush from the Lina?
That's a good question, but I think my thumb man's in a little bit of trouble down here.
Well, he's saved up a little bit by the snowball. He's trying to turn back onto Cheshire Cat, but Tron with a Dark Pact and another. Oh, he's not got past for the 10 seconds. He's got so much damage. The creep wave, well, soaks up the rocket barrage, but in comes Fata. 2-man Life Striker into the Dragon Slave. He's not going to find the kill though, as the charge from Cheshire Cat will slow him down, and they still get the Tusk on the back end. Tron, he's rapping. He's rapping with Cheshire Cat. The Witch Doctor drops, but if they can get Fanta here, it's all worth it with a bash hitting in and the pounce to latch. I'll take his mega kill streak. Over on the Winter Wyverns, that's a ton of gold, honestly. How much did he get? Almost 700 from that streak take.
That was so close. You saw him at Double Man, he just abandons the fight and runs in the creep wave because he was just 1 creep, well maybe 2 creeps from 6. And there were 4 creeps at like 5 HP next to him and he just couldn't kill them in time. And now he'll have called down. Kills 1 creep and gets it. That could have turned that fight. They were so low when Fata came in.
Well, right now, how are we looking at net worth? So Lina, 4.8k, but she doesn't have the makings of that active item where she can go and play aggressively. Then you look at the Shadow Fiend. Not decided yet, I don't think, what he's going to be. Oh no, he has. He's going to go for the mech. I was just wondering whether, you think about rushing a BKB, you go for the S&Y build here. But with Liquid's kind of brawling lineup, the Gyro hitting level 6 now, that cooldown can be incredibly oppressive if you're a Shadow Fiend trying to position yourself in a team fight. Especially like here, you're trying to farm your jungle and there's 4 heroes encroaching into your personal space.
Yeah, and these aggressive wards again, just paying off for Liquid. They're completely denying them their jungle, both stacks, even near the mid lane are kind of warded up and pretty dangerous from the take. And Mind Control with those early levels, early bots, he can just kind of show up and burn the waves, burn their jungle. And that Soul Ring build, maybe partially because of that nerf to the Yules, it's not, I mean, it's just not as potent in terms of like solo killing potential, so I can kind of understand that, and then maybe just going into the Shadow Blade and Aghanims, and just ignoring possibly Bloodstone as well, but I'm not sure with the nerfs to that if that's worth it.
Yeah, we used to see Bloodstone rushes before. I think Shadow Blade is still in. Oh, Cheshire Cat. That snowball is not quite gonna get there, and he just keeps on charging until the glimpse will send him back, but it's too far away. Beyond the reach of Fata. Now, Tier 1 at bottom gets denied out by Tron. Jirax, he still wants to battle this one out with the Sigil going across. Who do they choose? There's Big Num on the right, there's Tron on the left. They've got Lasso, but the pounce is there under Mind Control. Looks like Big Num will try and die over to the right-hand side, but Mind Control is dropping very low. Tron is stuck in the Static Storm, and they get the Slark with the Winter Wyvern. Cheshire Cat. This is deep. This is very deep, but he's going to get a double kill. He finishes off Matumberman with a Nether Strike, and that's well worth it. For the Spirit Breaker, not for the entire team, because they lose that's a 4-for-2 trade-off there.
Yeah, I think he was just getting level 9 on Mind Control, so I think he had like just skilled up Flame Break, didn't have it out in time to stop that charge. That was a great kamikaze play right there.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker's like, right, my team's pretty much dead. We've lost 3. I've got to make it worth it. He's the one hero that got the 2 heroes trading off there. Now, Shadow Fiend, mech is on its way, and Fata, he's got 2,000 gold saved up. I wonder if he's sending the courier to the secret shop, I'm guessing. Or is that just the Tusk getting his items delivered? So he hasn't actually... He's just saving gold up. He's hoarding.
He's messing with you. I mean, he's got blink gold now, but that would be a little bit unusual without the Yule Scepter. Speaking of a mind control, nice. There's that flame break. He was ready this time. He's like, fool me once, you know.
So BOT's bat. Gonna try and get himself around the map, split push a little bit more. And with this, you know, you can farm enemy jungle. You can have the Lina sitting in your jungle, farming away in there, and the Bat Rider control the rest of the map. Now, the charge through is going to go straight past Matumba Man, who has the cooldown. And he's just going to walk straight into this fight. He's seen Barash, but he's bashed up here with another strike, and Matu is dead. The rest of the team, though, is coming in. Liquid, they're going to get a big trade-off here. They get 3 for the price of that 1 gyrocopter and a tier 1. Now looking to pressure into the mid-tier 2. It's all about the balance. Liquid not afraid to give up a gyro. He's farming decently. It's not amazing. 4,000 net worth. He's still ahead of that Slark. But he just gives you so much power at this period of time.
Radiant's middle tower
Yeah,
is
and
under attack.
it's a little unfortunate there in terms of the supports, right? Like Bignum still not level 6. Same thing with the J4, even though he's up here trying to soak some EXP. I mean, they're both close, but you've got
Radiant's
Kuroki
top
level
tower
8,
is under
Jirax
attack.
level 7.5, and having something like the Winter's Curse could have been a big deal there. They will stack from up on Tron. It looks like he's going to get Walrus Punch as well. I believe he's going to die here.
The
Maybe
stick
the wall will be enough to keep him alive.
Double strike will finish him. That was super close, though. Poor little Slarky. So Tron, how many deaths has he got now? What's he at? 1, 3, and 4. But he's got the key components he needs. You know, Treads, Magic Wand, and Ring of Aquila. The next one's just going to be that Shadow Blade or Blink charge forward. Falpa's bought something. I'm not quite sure what, but he's just going to get bashed up here. And with the glimpse back, maybe they can save him. He takes another hit, and he will drop. But
He's going Bloodstone.
Interesting. Okay, so he's got the point booster in the recipe. Okay.
Yeah. I guess when you have a Disruptor and a Tusk and a Bat Rider, you're going to kind of rely on them for control, and you just kind of want to play like almost like a sniper, you know, where you're relying on everybody else to hold everybody down while you do your stuff. And Mind Control's going to blink in. Oh, look at this. He's getting the stacks. He's getting everything done here. It doesn't even need the lasso, honestly.
Yeah, Barash. Even with the mech, couldn't get time to use it. Stick charges as well. But Arcade, 10 to 17 right now. And Liquid are just... You know, we often see heroes get these massive streaks and go and just dominate the game. But Liquid are very... It just feels very calm from them. Like, they don't seem worried that they lose a Gyro, they lose a Lina. Because they are making up for it in so many other ways. The Bat Rider. Now with, what, 14-minute blink BOTs, can go into a 4-staff very quickly. His progression has been beautiful, honestly. The Lina will have a Bloodstone, and that will give her the stayability in teamfights, the mana regen just to spam spells constantly. And then that AoE heal for the rest of her team. It's just the Gyro I'm a little bit worried about, you know. And whether he goes for that BKB rush, I don't think it's going to be the best. The fact you've got Nether Strike and Death Ward and Winter's Curse and stuff like that. And the S and Y, we've seen him really love that item. Go for the Sands first, into the Yasha, then Helm of the Dominator, and think about the BKB a little bit later. I heard Slark talking about, oh, he's got the double damage. I heard him talking, he's got, oh, they got the Winter's Curse on the Fata, and with this DD, that should be a simple takedown. Jirax focused by the Death Ward from Witch Doctor. Now, Arcade, they've grabbed something back. If they can get a tier 1 here up at top lane, that could really swing things around for them.
Yeah, that's a tactical feed right there from Fata. Again, the death's of the way before the Bloodstone shows up, so it looks like Mind Control also going for Bloodstone then, thinking similarly.
Can Matu do this?
That's just a joke.
They've glimpsed Cheshire Cat back into the Static Storm, but it's healed up by the Cold Embrace, and Matu is trying to just skirt around the Cold Embrace with the Rocket Barrage. But now, this is where Arcade, they really start to kick in. Mech on the SF, Voodoo Restoration and Cold Embrace. Liquid don't have a hero when Lina's dead anyway. So just nuke someone down while they're being healed up. They've got tons of control, they've got lots of damage over time with the cooldown with the Rocket Barrage and Flat Cannon. But without the Lina there with the Laguna Blade, actually getting the numbers advantage in these team fights, it's a lot easier for Arcade to do that.
Yeah, I was actually like extremely skeptical of the BKB, and are you gonna get more action here? He is invis the Shadow Blade, but I know he's hasted up too. That'll be the bonus damage, right? So I don't know, maybe a couple lucky bashes, but under tower seems a little risky.
But he's just gonna wait it out here.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually thought he was gonna go for the BKB first, because kind of that like we're down a little bit, and I need to live through the fights to get off a good Requiem here. But if they are gonna be able to at least stick his 5 and really continue doing that, like they can't get picked off alone, or this mech essentially becomes useless, right? And I'm sure he'll build the BKB next. I don't know. I really thought he'd go BKB next, and I was a little skeptical, but I think that's going to work out fairly well. And how about this farm on Cheshire Cat, though? I mean, of course, your Batrider is doing well, but for a Spirit Breaker, 5,200 is pretty respectable considering the, you know, they're down in kills. Usually, it's kind of hard to find this farm when you're losing in the game with someone like the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, for sure. And it comes down to that fight at bottom lane, you know, the fact he gets 2 big kills in a row definitely boosted his net worth. And now
They just popped double smoke. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
They both smoked at the exact same time.
Oh dear.
Classic.
That's one smoke gone amiss, and they're not going to find anyone with it. There's nobody here. Take a look at this. Tron is down in the southeast, hiding, waiting for the money to get his Shadow Blade. And top lane, there are 4 heroes from Arcade just grouping up and getting ready. Now, Liquid, if they move towards this top lane, maybe they can spot this out. They've got a Dire Observer Ward over in their own jungle, trying to scout out, and they'll see J4 now. And they ping it out, but they don't quite know where everyone else is, and suddenly, the pastel colors from the Radiant team appear on the map from, you know, Liquid are like, oh god, Bob Ross is painting up at top lane. And
Well,
take the tier 1.
The trajectory was a little odd, wasn't it? Because they had this ward down here, like, in the jungle.
Yeah.
And then they decided to, they opted to go that direction despite not seeing anyone there with the smoke, so... at least they did secure that no one was nearby Roche, I suppose, so they'll grab that, you know, the most classic trade in Dota, as they say.
Oh, do they even lose this tier 2 up at top? Looks like Arcade aren't going to give up on it.
There's no minus armor.
Yeah, that's true. There's no medallion or anything to really aid them. And now Cheshire Cat has spotted Batrider and seen him go into the pit. So I don't think there's a way.
Slow. It's like the slowest Roche I've seen in forever. Where are the sliders? Where are the dazzles? Like,
Where's
where are the
the Wind Ranger?
medallions? Like, what is this?
Like, Arcade just took tier 1, tier 2 in succession, while Liquid get the Roshan. So, Lina with the Aegis, and I guess, yeah, Bloodstone is up to 8 charges. Well, it's on 8 charges still, and not lost anything out from that one. But very often we see Liquid do incredibly well at getting their supports farmed up. So Kuroki with Arcanes and 1800 gold, he's got tons of money to actually spend, and okay, Tron, Static Storm is there as well, and that's the perfect setup onto the Slark. He should be dropping here. Flame Break and Kuroki securing it. Now this is the issue I had, you know, I mentioned Slark halfway through the draft for Arcade, but the Disruptor was the perfect 5th pick for Liquid to deal with it. You know, you've still got Call Down, Rocket Barrage, LSA, and all of this just spam AoE nonsense that can still hit you in the Shadow Dance. But the fact you've got Lasso into Glimpse, into Static Storm, the Slark has really no options here but to go something like a BKB.
It's actually, I was so shocked that he got that off, because it's actually so hard to grab a Slark when you're playing Batrider like that, because not only does he have the immediate Dark Pack, but he's also holding a Shadow Blade, and there is a slight delay on Lasso, like, even if you blink Shift Q it, like, it is, you know, there is a little bit of a cast animation. So, I don't know, I guess maybe just not looking at his hero there, probably checking the rune or something for the Slark, not sure. A little unfortunate there.
Well, there's your Batrider 4 staff, so now he's got all the mobility in the world. And Matu, yep, SNY is what he's building into. The Shadow Fiend, we've got a full BKB done. And this is, oh wow. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. So Arcade, I keep looking at them and thinking they've got these big teamfight ultis, they've got the potential to kind of walk into Liquid's jungle, go and pressure and push into tier 1, tier 2 towers. Which is what Shadow Fiend mech was often used for. You know, you group up as 5, you just go and snowball into a location. Take a team fight, take an objective, and try and make things go your way. But now the mech is up for Disruptor. There's a lot of sustain on Liquid as well, with just that one item. You know, they've got Bloodstone, mech, and the fact they've got all this mobility sustaining them in the team fight, able to jump around and not get caught out too much. As they're hunting for someone in the trees, but won't find anyone there. Cheshire Cat's charging down to bottom lane. But 1v1 against Matumba Man. Can he do this? Can Cheshire Cat find his kill with some lucky batches here? He sure can. But in comes Mind Control, and they'll find the Lasso back onto that Spirit Breaker. Healed up with Barash on the mech, but Tusk Snowball in, to the top of the Requiem, but he punches up Barash, cancels out the Requiem and kills off Cheshire Cat with the help of Batrider. And now the wraparound comes in. They're just waiting for this BKB to end, and Fata will line up the LSA, and Barash's got nothing left to give. He'll drop. And that is a pretty big little skirmish there for a big little skirmish. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. For Team Liquid to now push into the tier 2.
Yeah, that's you know, just a little bit too aggressive there. There's just so much movement, right? Like Boots of Travel, Force Staff, Blink for Mind Control. He can essentially cover half the map in about 10 seconds. and then you're always dealing with phase boots Lina. It looks like Tron will snag up Kuroki here.
Oh, is
Opting
Kuroki
for the mech
baited?
though, might keep him alive. Oh no!
Has Kuroki baited this enough? Oh, the flame break, not quite enough. Oh, the LSA,
dead.
no! Tron tried to TP out. Not sneaky enough. Kuroki definitely baited that one for the rest of his teammates to come and sweep up the little Slark.
Yeah, it looks like Jerax, he will get charged up here. Do they have the damage this time though? There is a Wondrous Curse if they really want to commit it. I'm not sure. They have another strike. Alright, he's just dead.
Yeah, he's long gone. But Cheshire Cat now has no Shadow Blade and no charge, but he does have a teammate behind him with the Glimmer Cape. I'll save him from the nasty Gyrocopter. So Fata has Shiva's Guard done, right? Pretty much. Just needs a little bit more for the recipe. And Aegis is expiring in about a minute or so, yep. So they've got a minute to utilize this Aegis, but I think it's just going to be spent, you know, farming and making sure you control all the map. Force push all these lanes out. Like bot lane, Power Rangers, they know they need to control this. They've got to farm up on the Shadow Fiend and make sure that he gets some secure time building up his net worth. Because Shadow Fiend likes being 2 or 3k net worth ahead of his counterparts or ahead of any hero on the opponent team. Right now he's behind the Lina.
Is under attack.
Yeah, you basically want to be like top dog when you're playing SF, and we just haven't really gotten that big Requiem fight. You know, when the BKB comes out, you generally want to get that massive little engagement where you wipe 3 heroes or something, and then mind control, they can't find him. Oh, he's got the gem, so guess the wrong direction on that one. And just Cheshire Cat will make it out.
Spirit Breaker was out of there. The one kind of shining light I see here for Arcade is the Witch Doctor is very close to his Ags. He's about 1500 away from completing it. And honestly, Arcade's high ground defense is close to impregnable, right? They've got Winter's Curse, Splinter Blast, Cast, Death Ward, Shadow Fiend Razors, and then the fact that Slark can go hunting for supports in the background. Pushing up high ground here for Liquid, they need a team fight and they need Aegis, I feel, to go and take a tier 3 in Rax.
The only thing they're missing really is that like Ember Spirit or a Spectre or a Morphling or something that can be farming lanes, you know, while the rest of the team's kind of defending, then immediately come in for the actual fight. So maybe if they can hem them in, it wouldn't be the worst thing for Liquid, simply because they won't really have anyone who'll be getting anything. As mind control does get cursed up here.
Yeah, you're right. Looks like it'll just drop, but that's 2 ultis used up for him. And now the rest of the team, man, is shredded by Tron and Barash, and Kuroki is not going to have a luckier time. One more hit from the Shadow Fiend is all they need, but he's walked into Fata here. Charged back with another strike, and Cheshire Cat glimpsed away from Kuroki will save him, but Lina still going to go down, and Power Rangers. Arcade. 3 for 0, nearly 4 for 0. But that was really, really spread out from Liquid. They TP'd back, they were kind of hesitating on how they should engage.
Yeah, that was really well done by Bignum, because at first, you could probably hear it in my voice, it's like, your Window's cursing a bat, like, up on the high ground with no one nearby, but simply because they can't get that lasso and the Force Staff off, like, that's a huge part of how Liquid's been winning these fights. Like, it's the immediate delete right from the Laguna Blade, Shivas, or something like that, so extremely well played there. Just a good game sense by Bignum to understand that as long as the Bat Rider's dead, like, it's gonna be a pretty hard engagement for Liquid over here, and it's gonna result in this tower. And I don't think there'll be any sort of a repercussion for this whatsoever.
No, it doesn't look like it. But yeah, Liquid was really traversing through the Radiant jungle and looking for the big wraparound onto this tier 1 tower. But then they TP'd like one hero to tier 2, another hero, and then Kuroki TP'd back, and then they kind of had this split where they were 2 and 3. 2 coming from the back, 3 coming from the front. And the way that Arcade positioned, and they were sort of, you know, going back and forth in this area, not committing to anything, meant that Liquid couldn't go for that just all in, we'll surround you, we'll come in from one direction and we'll take the team fight. They had to go for this kind of split. Right, we'll backstab you a little bit, come in from the front with a big brawling heroes as well. But Arcade were ready, and like you said, that Winter's Curse is pretty damn good, and that fight has given Witch Doctor the Aghanim Scepter. Level 2 ulti, Aghanim's up. Things are looking rough for Team Liquid, honestly.
Yeah, well, the one thing they do have is unbelievable map control. Like Bat Rider and having the gem on top of them, you can see there's actually only 1 ward in the inventory of Bignum, and there's none in the shop. So the dewardings have been extremely real here from mind control. And oh, speaking of dewardings, you see this observer down here in the bottom lane, in between the 2 sentries? That's frustrating. Oh, the other one just died, but either way, just some sneaky wards. I mean, kind of been pointing out the aggressive wards the whole game for Liquid, but they have been very well placed. And Bat Rider definitely one of those vision heroes, although he's not often thought of one, I guess. He's definitely one of the best gem carriers, like right up there with Night Stalker.
Yeah, definitely. So, Barash looks like he's gone from BKB now into the... I'm guessing Skadi here for the Shadow Fiend. It's kind of the regular item, you know. Maybe you point out Lincoln's Sphere just because there's Bat and the Lasso from him, Glimpse from Disruptor, Laguna Blade from the Lina. But Skadi's just going to allow you to tank up a ton. Very good against the Gyro, the fact you can kind of kite him around in a team fight. And without a BKB, he's going to be susceptible to all this, you know, cask bouncing around, and he won't be able to get into position to really do too much damage-wise. But the supports on Arcade, they're getting relatively farmed up here. You know, the Spirit Breaker slowed down a little bit in his progression, but BKB before 30 minutes, which is what he's aiming at, is still pretty amazing on top of the Shadow Blade.
Yeah, it's so good this game. Like, Fata not opting for the earlier eggs, he is heading towards it now, it would seem, at least unless it's going to be like Octarine Core or some shenanigans after going for a Bloodstone, who knows, but we saw how much control he offered on top of Fata. That last fight, got the charge through, Nether Strike, a couple bashes as well, like, you can't do anything with this guy, and once that BKB's out, it's basically going to be Walrus Punch and Lasso that you'll be looking to commit over on the Spirit Breaker, trying to interrupt the Nether Strike, so I could see that really trying to turn these fights. A lot of it's probably going to have to do with Kuroki, and he doesn't have that Blink Dagger that we see a lot of Disruptors opt for right now. At first it was a little unusual, but just seeing all these Blink Static Storms, Blink Glimpses, I've really come to appreciate the item on the hero, so I was a little surprised to see him actually go for the mech, because he's one of the guys I've been seeing pick up this Blink Dagger, and it's going to make it a little bit harder. Like, Static Storm doesn't have the biggest range for casting.
Yeah. I even wonder what he goes for next. Like, if he does save up for the Blink, or if you start thinking about Aghanim Scepter now. Because Greaves would be okay here. I don't think it's going to be an amazing item for you, just the fact that there's not that much to dispel.
No.
But if you can get the Aghanim Scepter, stopping BKB, stopping, you know, Shadow Blade, BKB from Slark, and it could be the tide swinger in these team fights. And then you look at the triple BKB now. Spirit Breaker, Slark, and the Shadow Fiend all have that magic immunity ready. And with the aggressive party leaving the Radiant side of the map, Tron Shadowbladed up. The three other heroes just going to try and wrap around from the north. But Liquid, they're all grouped around their Ancient Pit. The Alpha Wolf is stacking up, building things here, with Tron spotted out there with the Observer Ward well placed there by Kuroki. Just scouting vision of it. I think they know that the aggression's coming onto this tier 2 at mid.
I mean, look at the wards from Liquid. I mean, they can just tell, like, where are they? Like, they're not pushing the side lanes. They have lost a couple in the jungle, so they're not fully aware of that. But the Radiant just, it's a lot more difficult for them to understand where Liquid is. But I think they spotted some Firefly there.
Yeah, looks like they did. And now they know there's an Observer Ward over in this area. Slark realizes, hang on a second. This is happening. They can see us. Oh, the big num. Send back. He's going to take taken out. There's no Winter's Curse just yet. It looks like they want to try and fight this. The buyback from the Winter Wyvern. And in comes the Death Ward. Bouncing back between Jurex, Marty now onto Fata. They've done a ton of damage with this and just trying to drag Barash back with Mind Control. But at this point, the BKBs are just too strong here. Liquid, they bring the Tusk back into the game with the help of that little bit of gold. And Tron, under the guise of invisibility, the Shadow Blade scouted out by that sentry and back into the Static Storm, but the Cheshire Cat bashes up with a charge onto Kuro. Requiem will slow them down, but Tron is still alive. The Cold Embrace keeps him up and running, and now he's in that invis again. Fata trapped here and denied himself with a Bloodstone. With Liquid just losing hero after hero. And with Roshan alive, it's got to be Arcades.
Yeah, I don't know. Wow, that was such good game sense from Arcade to go into that fight after immediately losing the Winter Wyvern. I think a lot of teams would have ran. I was thinking they were going to disengage, but having the Death Ward from the river, just you know, knowing what an advantageous position that was for J4, they turned that fight into a big advantage for them. And now Mind Control in quite a bit of trouble. And this is one of those points where levels are just so massive. He would have Lasso right now if he was level 16, but now he has to wait 15 more seconds, and they could have possibly gotten this Roche because of it. And he was so close to 16 before that fight all started.
Well, I'll lose out on that one. And now you're looking at Barash with Skadi done, Aegis up on him, Tron with a Skadi not far away either. You know, they're looking at these cores, suddenly tanking themselves up massively. Liquid, they've got lots of control. You know, we said this a lot in the draft. They've got Glimpse and Snowball and everything in between. But the fact they don't have a raw right-click physical damage carry, they don't have a massive amount of nuke damage outside of that Lina. They've kind of gone for the spread of, like, you know, we've got a bit of this, a bit of that, but there doesn't seem to be a drive or a direction for their draft or their actual team fights, you know? Maybe they want to try and pick off one hero at the start. A lot of their heroes are very good at engaging and chasing. but not very good at continual sustained team fights, whereas Arcade is like the complete opposite. They go in and they sustain.
Yeah, and maybe that is why Kuroki did go for the Guiding Greaves, trying to work on that sustain and trying to boost that perk of their draft up, but I don't know, it just seems so strange. Like, I feel like the Aghanim Scepter almost does seem like a necessity because of all these BKBs, but if you're not going to get that, like, obviously you have to at least hit the Static Stormers. They do grab Tron as well as the Call Down. Alright, well, that's a BKB though, so adios amigos. I don't know, like, it's just, if you can't hit a good Static Storm, I can understand that, and then that makes me think, like, you better get the Blink Dagger. So the Greaves, although, I don't know, it's pretty expensive, like 1600 gold just to combine your mech and your arcanes and then get that nice little, I know it's a nice aura, but there's really not much of a dispel function going on here, so
like,
Jirax is in trouble bottom.
Often when you see the Guardian Greaves, it's because, you know, a Tidehunter or a Darkseer wants to dispel a global silence or something, you know? You just want to get rid of that silence in Orchid, but is Jirax gonna just TP away? Okay, well, he gets out of that sticky situation somehow. Not quite sure what was going on there, but Arcade, they're ready to pressure into tier 3s. And unlike Liquid, they have the Shadow Fiend who can go and stand up on high ground and just wail into the tower. They've got heroes behind him who can, you know, keep him alive, keep him sustained, and with a Death Ward, they can place that down and stop or deter Liquid from really running in and team fighting. They're trying to do as much damage as they can to Barash here. And the BKB stopping the glimpse, they're not going to drag him back, and Arcade looks like they'll just disengage and walk back to defend top lane. Right, there we go. There we go. Ags for Lina.
Yeah, and that's probably why these Scotties are coming out, right? Just go for that raw HP up against the pure damage that's going to be coming out from that. And now quite a bit of pressure here as they are smoked up. This is going to be a massive fight. This could be game deciding.
Oh, Fata, he's walked straight into it. He gets the LSA onto 2, but Barash, Requiem to hit by the Laguna Blade, and it looks like he will drop the Aegis with the Death Ward there. Going to get onto Jirax, but nothing much else. Bignum will get focused down, but Fata is still getting shredded by Tron, who no longer has a BKB though. He's trapped in Static Storm, and they'll find him, but the Slark is dead, and Barash has no Aegis left. Liquid, they're finally getting a team fight that's decent for them, but Matsumoman is slowed by the Skadi, looking to turn back onto Cheshire Cat, and that cask is just causing havoc, bouncing back and forth, but that's 4, and they're not going to get a 5th. Cheshire Cat is long gone, but Team Liquid, oh my goodness, without buying back, they had the high ground advantage, and they just played that perfectly.
I mean, if you lose that fight, you probably lose mid-racks.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, that's just huge. And well done. I don't think Arcade, obviously they were smoked up coming in looking for that nice little bit of a pick off, probably hoping Matamba Man might be near the Ancients with maybe some of the other teams split pushing, but unfortunately it was everybody. So well done by Liquid, and now there's really no buybacks except for Slark. This, at least tier 3's dead.
All of a sudden, Arcade go from pressuring enemy tier 3 to having to defend their own. Goodness. It looks like this tier 3 might just drop here. Without Shadow Fiend, like Winter Wyvern and Witch Doctor are alive in a couple of seconds time. They're focusing the melee racks, they know the glyph has just been used. Melee rack should fall, then they back themselves up, or they're going to go for the full lane. Full lane, okay, okay. Shadow Fiend's dead for 5, he's going to have half souls when he respawns. Full lane it is, with the items upgraded. Fata Laguna Blade rips apart the Witch Doctor, and now the Snowball to save them all. They get the last one with the Tron, he's got no dark back here. I don't know if they can focus him down though, with Kuroki still wandering around. Static Storm is up, he's going to have to throw it soon though. On top of Tron, Flame Break pushes them all out. And now Matu's caught in the curse. Just go in. Finish off the range rack. You're probably gonna drop here, but actually, looking at this, Shadow Fiend and the Slock are both dead without buyback. On the SCF, Tron has to come back into this. Spencer's gold up, Cheshire Cat is trapped in the kinetic field and we got taken out as well. But Liquid, they only lose 1 hero. And honestly, the Guardian Greaves is keeping them alive.
That aura though.
What do you do now, Arcade? Are you just gonna die and die again? Cheshire Cat gets dropped. And this could be a second lane of racks here for Liquid. If they move down to bottom lane, top lane is pushing in though, naturally with the creep wave, so that's gonna be a relatively simple tier 3.
I don't know, like they're full HP. I mean, it might just be the call soon, honestly. Fata's back in because of Bloodstone respawn.
And then Shadow Fiend's gonna have 15 souls when he respawns. He's not going to have a big Requiem. He's not going to have anything, really. That's a second lane of racks for Liquid. And all of a sudden, it's like they flick the switch, they win 2 team fights in a row, and the game is over. Arcade getting caught without buybacks. Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even have like a base taking team, honestly. Like, they get the machine gun Lena, I suppose, but
It's
there's no
painfully
Tiny.
slow. Like,
Yeah.
they've got no raw damage output, like you said, apart from this Lena, who walks into the Shadow Fiend here. Skadi slow, but they've got the lasso there to try and control up Barashan's cooldown or slow him down. I don't think there's much way out of this as Tron without buyback this time, and good game well played is called. Game number 1 goes to Liquid, but honestly, I was biting my nails there for Liquid, and I think Power Rangers thought we've got this, we've got this. But Liquid, the first 25 minutes was cool, calm, collected. They don't mind if they feed away a few kills here or there, but Arcade were close.
I just caught the graph before it did the little flat line it does at the end there, and there was about a 20,000 gold swing in the past 7 minutes. So,
Oh man.
So there you go. It was relatively even. It was only a 7k gold difference when they lost that fight, from what I could tell. It looked like, at least.
Well.
5k.